Hello, welcome to the stream. My name is Ace. I'm a hobbyist. I'm going to be sculpting characters in Blender. It's a newly acquired skill, so you're going to see me learn and grow in this medium on this stream when I do art. It won't be the only type of art I do, but for now, this is what I want to focus on: sculpting a character from a webcomic to use as reference. Um, this is how far we are from the past couple streams. I think he's a little. The only problem is he's a little too jacked. I might need to adjust some things here and there, but this is the progress. Gave him some pants, of course, to satisfy the Twitch Skynet. And today we're going to work on the arms and the legs. So we're just going to get right into it and start. Give him some arms here. I think his upper arm is long enough. So what I'm going to do is we're going to extend it to the lower arm now. I'm going to flatten it just a little bit, just so I know exactly where to put the mask at. So right now it's got a little stump, so what I want to flatten it a little bit and then just mask the flattened part. That way it's kind of like a little self marker, even though you don't really need it. But I'm just gonna do. It's just what I've been doing. You know, when I was learning how to do it, I would just flatten it instead of using a stump, and then just extrude that. Okay. Hope everyone's having a wonderful morning. If you're watching through VOD, it's a great day. Nice and sunny. I had a little bit. I had another a little bit of a late start because I stayed up. I stayed up late yesterday, but we are not too far off track. Depending on how long it takes me to do the arms and legs, it might be a little bit of a short stream. Just kind of want to take it easy. As far as the future, I don't know. I mean, I have this obviously, but I do want to play some games at some point. I just don't know when. I don't know if I'm. It'll probably be on the weekend too. I'm not sure if I should do it tomorrow. I kind of want to take this weekend off because we're still getting started. I'm still trying to balance my schedule and my free time. So and it's just I don't really need to overdo it. This has been enjoyable for me. So I want to make sure that I don't make it not enjoyable. Hey, RT up to studios, welcome in. Hold on, I'm gonna show those glutes. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Give me some. I'm gonna hold on. Give you a shout out. I gotta get used to doing that. I'm still not used to the commands. Make it a habit. I hope that worked. Did that work? Am I able to do that? I don't see anything. Oh yes. Hey, do you want to also be a mod? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but okay. All right, no problem. Okay, I think that worked because it just went in. Um, okay, wait. Is it because I put it on all caps? It says unable to add moderator. Why is this? Okay, that didn't work. Oh, what is going on? Okay, well, I'll do it. I'll do it at some point. I don't know why this is not working. Can I just right click and add a mod? No, can't do that. That is so weird. I am spelling it right, am I? Okay, I'll worry about that later. I'll make you one eventually. What? What's going on? I do mods in the settings on my channel, but that may be the way you have to do it. But guess what? What? This is what I did. I cover. I think I'm going to audition for a couple of voice acting things. Oh, congrats! Voice acting is interesting. I just gave him something just to cover up. It's a little he's a little beefy down there, but that's okay. I could just fix that when I use it as a reference. But that's great. I think I'm going to audition for a couple of voice. Yeah, I hope you get it. I don't have a professional microphone, so I don't expect to get anything. But it's not my John to reject myself. Oh, try a job. Try a This is the mic that I have here. You can't get. You gonna be able to see it because I have to push it in between my monitors. Get a Shure SM7B. M is in Mike. S is in Sierra. Try that because that's like a common microphone that like podcasters and people who do voice work get. It's pretty good. It's a little on the quiet side, so you might have to get additional things for it. And then of course there's all the acoustics and sound pads. I think those should be relatively affordable. I think yeah. I have a Blue Yeti Snowball and I have a Corsair $220 headset. Can you type it in the chat, please? Yes, yes, I can. Yeah, I'll send you a link too when I'm done streaming. But yeah, it's a good microphone. Like I have an audio mixer and a compressor, and it makes this much louder. And but yeah, without anything, it's a little quiet. So you definitely have to do some adjusting. I don't think it's. Yeah, I'll send my audio clips to my audio engineer friend, and if they don't work out, I'll look into Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I hope that works out for you. Okay, what we don't want to do is that. I'm gonna do it the easy way. Set pivot to mask border, and then pull out so that way it comes out straight. Yeah, I think I made him a little too ripped. He's supposed to be a wiry build, but I built the muscles a little bit too much when I was trying to work out where everything goes, and his legs are a little too big. And this, I couldn't really get this to uh to to go like directly on the skin, so I had to kind of like put it over, so it looks like he's really buffed up back there, but it's actually it's not that. It's just the covering. This might be a little too big. Okay, I'm gonna go back some. We'll adjust it. We'll keep adjusting it as we go. He's got a little T1000 arms here. Sculpt mode. Okay, so let's go to clay strips. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to open my references. So I'm going to do that now. Okay. I'm going to start working on the muscles in the arm. Is that is that Bejeweled? Is Bejeweled helping you? She does audio stuff, right? I'm going to. All right, now I'm gonna start working on the forearm. Okay, so we run this muscle here. There's like a little muscle. I don't know what it's called. I don't have these. I don't have these. It's a diagram, or I don't have them labeled in my diagram here, so I'm not sure what they are called. Hold on. Before I go on, I need to remesh this. Okay. Now this muscle will wrap around the top of the arm. So we're going to do that. We're going to wrap it around. It wraps around the top and then it goes straight like this. And then have it go like that. Yeah. Wrap it around the top some. Okay. And then there's another muscle here. You don't have to go too detailed like I have done for the rest of the body. We'll get it going here. Just some very basic shapes of what is supposed to happen, but I made a little bit of tweaks here and there. I dropped I had to pull his chest muscles up a little bit. They were too low when I was trying to make the groin area. And I saw that, so I made a little slight adjustments here and there. But relatively, we are right where we left off. And then there's the elbow. Going to put a little bit of the elbow there. And then There's really not much here. Okay, I'm gonna build this out a little bit more. Try to inflate it a little bit. Oh, that was not inflate. That's a move. This is inflate. This music is making me nervous for a boss battle. Oh, that's a very very good call because it is a boss battle music. It's it's the bouncer. It's a beat 'em up game. I don't have to do that. I'm sorry. It's those things I gotta get used to. I have enough gain on this mic to where you can hear me without me having to lean in. But anyways, it's a beat 'em up game by Square Enix, and the main character looks like he's like a more edgy um bad boy type version of Sora from Kingdom Hearts. He looks almost exactly like Sora. His name is Sion Barzad. It's a very short game, and it was more and the graphics are more like it's more like a showcase to what Square Enix was able to do with the PlayStation. It was a fairly early title in PlayStation's life, and but the cutscenes were pretty. Square Enix always put a lot of effort in their cutscenes, so I think the elbow is a little too low. Let me try to. Yeah, and there's a guy on there with a trench coat. He's like a blonde haired dude with a trench coat, and he's got like a chain on his pants or whatever. His name is like Duragon C Mikado. That's his name, and he like does all these crazy flips and kicks and whatever. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of him. He looks exactly like Sora. No, I don't think I've never seen anyone make that comparison. I'm sure someone has, but that's the first thing that I noticed when Sora, because this came out before Kingdom Hearts. This was like 2000 or 2001, and I think Kingdom Hearts was like the following year or two later, and yeah, it's weird. It's a interesting beat 'em up, but it's a little short. It's a little on the short side, but yeah, it's another Square Enix title. One of the main characters has a cactar from Final Fantasy on his jacket, on the back of his jacket. It's got like the cancel symbol over it, like Ghostbusters. The cactar, he's like this. Guy, and the other, there's three characters you can pick, and there's like a piercing, heavy metal looking dude, and then there's like a whole like a tribal tattoo tatted up thing because that was like the style back then was tribal tattoos, and then there's Evil Sora. And it has a versus mode too, where you can unlock characters and play with them, against a two player or another player. I feel like this. I still feel like this is too low. I think I might have just put this in the exact same spot. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smooth that out to the point where it's non-existent. I'm gonna move the elbow up a little bit more. Also, that was the wrong brush. Okay, work on the elbow a little bit more. I think that's good for now, anyway. All right, you know what? Where the crease is where I should be putting it. Still putting it a little bit below the crease. Let me look at my diagram here just so I got it in the right spot. Little, okay. sure. And okay, I think we got something here. Now these little dips in between where the muscles are, we can add those in, or in between the elbows. Sorry. Add just a little bit of information here. These little creases here on the elbow. I'm gonna add those in just a little bit. It's barely visible, but adding this like little small details like that will help you with the other things sometimes. Just enough to get the info there. Oh yes, that's the elbow. See, that's why he's freaking jacked right now, because I keep trying to like define the correct muscles here, and I overdid it. That's okay though. I think I can just smooth it out. It won't matter though, because when I do the retopology, it'll kind of balance it out a little bit. Like this would be considered like the high quality mesh, but we're the final product is when the product final form is going to be in a low poly mesh actually, so it's fine. And then once I get rid of his diaper and put some actual clothes on him, then it'll look better. Okay, I'm gonna smooth that out a little bit just so it looks a little more natural. What I need is I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit more. Just want to make sure his forearm is matches the rest of his body here. Like I said, he's a little too buff. We'll just tweak it. We'll just tweak it as we go. I think let's see. I'm gonna stretch his arm out a little bit more. I think his arm is a little too short. I'm gonna put his the other side of his elbow like right below his rib cage, like right at his rib cage. That's what I'm thinking right now. And then I'm gonna stretch his wrist out to where his groin is. And leave it there. Okay. I know it looks like he's wearing a diaper, but that's only because I can't. I this is like technically over his skin. What I did was I masked out this part, and then I extruded it, and then I inflated it a little bit just for a covering. But I'm going to this isn't the final thing. This is just for Twitch. That's why it looks a little off. Looks pretty bad, but don't worry about it. It's all right. It's okay. I had to make it that way for now. I'm gonna put actual like a cloth simulation for his pants when I get to that. Okay, I think I can do the legs now. We have a basic shape for his lower arms, his forearms. Might be a little. I think it might be just a little bit too much there. Tell you what, instead of pulling it, let me try to inflate it. And we'll just adjust it as we go, just in case it isn't right. It's kind of like a little quick pass. Okay. I think it's a little bit coming along here. You don't want to beef it up too much because then he's gonna look like Popeye. So I'm just going to work on the shape just a little bit there. Just gonna bring that in. Bring that in line with his wrist. Okay. Let me see here. Leg. I mean, I know where I went wrong with his leg here. It's like a little. He's got tree trunk legs. I'm gonna try to bring him in a little bit. What I was doing is I was trying to, because you have this slight S curve with the spine, and then you have the same thing with the legs too. So it'll go a S, it'll go S, and then it'll be another S down here. This will also, like, this will be the S part. Like, this is the front of his thigh, obviously, and then the other part of the S would be his calf. So it's more like a backwards S, I guess. S and then another S. But I think I overdid it. This part should be out more. Just a slight S shapes. Okay, so I'm going to mask out the leg here. Like so. Now, normally I think I would flatten it, but I don't think I need to. I think it'll be fine. We'll see. Invert it. Let's set the pivot to the mask border. And I'm just going to switch to the move to. That way I can get it straight down. Now you want it to be a little bit back for the S curve. So you have that little bump here, which will adjust. It's a little too straight. And then this curve back here will be the calf. Also, I need to see the grid. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit more. We usually go about 6 squares, and then we can just adjust it for real world size because this guy is actually like a giant right now. When you get the body done, what you want him to be sitting on top of this line, and within this larger square here, that would be more closer to real world size, and then you can just adjust it from there. Right now, he's like a kaiju. But that's okay, that will be adjusted later. It's a little further down the line. Okay, we're gonna go with that for now. And I'll just adjust the proportions later. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and remesh that because every time you extrude something, you kind of start running out of polygons immediately. So you start pulling things out like that, and you need more. You're going to need more polygons later. Not even later, like soon, very soon. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is work on the leg. I'm gonna start with the basic, that basic S curve that I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna start putting that in. Okay, let's see. I don't want the leg to come out over his undergarment there. So just gonna stretch it out just a little slightly. Tell you what, you can't see it. Let's see. Yeah, I have to adjust that later. I just wanted to see how that looked. I'll have to take this off and adjust it later off stream, but because that looks because with this looks really weird. So what I'm thinking maybe next time I do this is to make this area like super small. That way when there is an underwear over it, it looks normal. Because it's not actually touching, it's like out a little bit. It's a little bit inflated. That's okay though. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the just a little bit the calf here just to get the basic shape of it, and then we'll work on it. This is like my I did let's see, last year I did 3 practice sculpts, and then this year I did this will be like my second or third. And it was like a lot of time in between, so I wasn't really doing this as much as I should because I was working on other things. But hopefully by I would say about a couple more sculpts of this, these will be these will start looking, you'll start seeing improvement. I'll say I think it's okay for now. It's good for, I mean, I for me looking at it, I think it's I think I have come pretty far so far, but there's still some things I need to sharpen. Like I said, my first sculpt was it was worse than it was like a Majora's Mask done by a kid. The moon, the moon in the that crashes into the ground. It looked just like that. I tried to find it when on the first day that I streamed, which I think it was what, the 24th or the 25th. I tried to find it, but I couldn't. I didn't see the point of keeping that one. It was just I just it was pretty bad. It was a sphere with and with a face carved in it. Basically, it looked just like the moon from Majora's Mask. Okay, so I was like, oh man, I need to look up how to use this program. This is pretty bad. This is the wrong brush, but that's okay. I want to get the general shape of the calf. I got caught up on X-Men '97. I think it's a pretty good show. I like what they did with it. It seems that they're still adapting storylines from the comic books in the way that they would have done in the '90s. I see they got like multiple stories packed into one. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I saw the first 3 episodes of it. I think they did pretty well with it so far. It's about on course for what you would expect from a an adaptation that's kind of faithful to the source material. They have Morph. The original Morph was what the here. The original Morph was actually 2 characters together. And he looks more like he does in the comics now. The Morph in the comics looks, with the bald and no nose. That's how he looks. He's a lesser character though. He's not. He wasn't like the main roster like he is in the cartoon. But I don't mind it. I think it's a. I think he's more X-Men is always good. But I think that's not. It gets convoluted when you start having so many main characters in the story. I think they say that you should have about seven as a rule of thumb, seven people to follow, and I think they're close to that, right? But the X-Men are like there's like way more X-Men than that, so things get a little crazy in the comic book. But if you don't mind it, it's not a big deal. Okay, I may have to. Let me see here. And since I extruded the leg, I'm going to have to adjust all these muscles. I only did this. I only put the muscles in early because I had to do this and cover it. So I just put the muscles in just so I know where everything is. But it looks like I have to move down a little bit. Everything. Let's see here. I'm just looking at my anatomy here. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm going to adjust it to where it looks like a human instead of a doll or an effigy or something like that. Little voodoo doll looking dude. I think I know what it is. I think this little bump here makes it like he has a knee there and he doesn't. He's not yet. Like I said, I'm just putting in the basic shapes. We'll get it adjusted later. Let me see here. I'll put in the knee. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really been watching anything. I only watched it because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see what they did. But I'm not disappointed. I like it. I think the animation's pretty good. It's probably not, the animation is probably not what you would normally see in a decent show. I think it's probably a little less than that, but it's okay. It's pretty good. But then again, I haven't really the only modern animations I've been seeing are anime, and they usually have more fluid animation, right? But I think the animation was pretty fluid though for a Western cartoon. I haven't seen any. I don't have anything to compare it to because. Are you rigging this? I forgot. Yes, yes, I am. I am going to rig this. When I started doing this, that actually took to learn rigging to rig it was actually took longer for me to learn than to sculpt it because I was doing it bone by bone. But I have like an entire skeleton I can just generate and just it's much faster. I'd rather do it that way. It hasn't been that way hasn't been tested in a game engine, but I can do it manual. It just takes a lot longer. Like that practice sculpt I showed you, that was the third one. That was the first sculpt I did. That was done within 2 weeks. But rigging it took me a couple of months to learn that. It was just because I had work and I had to work and so I was only able to do like a few bones a day and I had to. It's literally just one bone at a time, and then you have to connect them all together. There's the IK and the FK. It's inverse kinetics and forward kinetics, I believe. I think forward kinetics you can just bend whatever part of the arm. But when you do inverse, um, if you activate the inverse, sorry, if you activate the inverse version, moving just the hand will move the entire arm back. So it's really good if you want like a natural pose when you're trying to adjust or like when you're trying to pose the arm. So it's like two different modes that you can set. And IK is a little annoying because if you get something wrong, then the whole thing will be messed up. But FK, you could just go like, oh yeah, I just want it here. I want this here. I want that here, so on and so forth. Okay, hold on. Let me. Yeah, it was a very long process for what I wanted. You know, I don't know how to do backgrounds yet. I'm um I'm considering it. Like I will learn it obviously, but um I think yeah, I think I want to do backgrounds too. I'm not sure how to go about it. Like I can light this character, so I guess it would be just a matter of just making a ground, making a, you know, background trees and then just lighting it. Right now the light, since he's technically a giant, the lighting, if I try to light him now, I would have to make the light extremely bright, like 1,000 watts or something for it to show on his face. But once he gets to more of a human size, then you'll be able to properly light him and then you can see all the stuff. Lighting will help you with proportions too. It'll help you how the shadows are cast on the face and whatnot. Sort of like this, but not really. This is the material. I believe there actually isn't a light, but yeah, we're gonna do that at some point. Probably next week. I'm going to try to start doing making sure that everything is accurate, and I'm gonna see that during like in the light with lighting and all that. Okay, so I'm just what I'm doing now is I am doing a little too much here with the knee. It looks like an action figure. So let me just smooth that out. Okay. Going to I won't be testing the rig in Unity, but um you'll be able to see it here anyway. Doesn't really matter. In Unity, you can have like mocap. There's like free mocap animations. I don't know if that's if people if other engines have that built in, but there's these free mocap animations that you can put once you configure like what goes where inside of the game engine. Then your character will move just like whatever was mocapped as it should. Okay, I think I just need to make the knee muscles, or not the knee muscles, sorry, the leg muscles bigger. So I'm going to readjust all of this so that it's lower and probably less defined too. Okay, I'm finished doing the knee here. Brush is too large. Let me get it down a little bit. I just want to shape the knee some. Okay, just enough to get a basic shape. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out the sides a little bit. It's a little too much. It looks a little weird, but some adjustments need to be made. Actually, once I get the muscles where they're supposed to be, it won't look too bad. I had to skip ahead a little bit, like I said, because of his little trunks there. Okay, I'm gonna redo these muscles here. Hold on, let me see if I could just smooth this out to the point where I can make it so that the muscles don't. I'm not just putting muscles on top of muscles. So you can just keep smoothing out whatever you did to make it less defined, make it blend in a little bit more. I can still do that for the chest too. See, now they're starting to look if they were in the right area, it was starting to look a little more realistic instead of like dehydrated. like like he took some, I don't know, some kind of whoa. That was not what I wanted. Like he took some steroids or something. What in the heck? I have to hold. If you hold shift, you can use the smoothing brush, but for some reason, I guess my fingers slipped. See, it looks a little he looks a little more, he looks less dehydrated. I'll worry about the back in a second. Now we just have to this muscle here, part of the quad, should be lower. It should be right above the knee. So we're just going to adjust that. And then I'll make it so that the knees actually look like knees. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in. It's like this little, like this kind of like this W shape down here, right above the knee. Then this bigger W, this bigger half of the W here. Morning, Jewel. Welcome to the stream. I'm just sculpting, doing some like pseudo practice, making a reference for a web comic that I'm working on. It'll be in 2D, and what I want to do is I want to sculpt all the characters in 3D, and then I can just pose them for whatever scene I'm trying to do. I feel like that'd be the easiest way to do it, because beforehand when I was designing these characters, I used a lot of Google images and whatnot, and you're not gonna get specific things from Google. It'll take a very long time. It's like a lot of time just going through Google trying to find decent references for shadow, light, uh, or whatever you need a reference for, basically. So I learned 3D sculpting for that reason, and it's actually pretty fun too. I actually like doing this. I think I might do some future sculpts just for the heck of it. Just has no real like to something that has no real purpose. I could use to practice anyway. This is a very, very, very new skill. Whenever I see y'all doing art, my mind is just blown. Like, wow, my friends are so creative. Thank you. It's very fun to do. I enjoy doing this a lot. Um, I'm doing the characters by order of appearance. I want to change up the subject matter too. I draw a lot of people. I don't really draw much of anything else. It's mostly just people with faces. I guess that's something I've done for a long time now because I've done like just little weird comics. You just take a bunch of papers and just fold them together and then just draw a comic in it. That's what I used to do when I was in school. Whenever I was bored or whatever, or I was done my work. But I wanted to do a more. I wanted to put some effort into a art project, so I decided to do a web comic. I want to do an animation too. That's a little further down the line. I dabbled in that a little bit. I did some animations for this channel. They're a little rough, but I'm okay. I'm fine with them. I'm satisfied with them. I'm gonna have to stop right there because I don't want to beef up the this. It'll come out through the mesh that I put over it. It's a little too there, even though it's not like you can see there's room, there's like it's out, it's like a there's like a in between space between the mesh and the underwear, and it automatically looks bloated. So, but this is just for Twitch. I don't want to anger Twitch, so I'm putting that there. Okay, we don't. I'm not. I don't want to make them too jagged. Like you see, like using the clay brush is nice because if you want to show that muscle definition, like the muscles, like on someone who's like really built, you can just do the clay. You can do the shapes with the clay brush and then just smooth it out a little bit, and it'll just make it look more. See, yeah, you can see almost the muscles, the muscle definition there. Clay brush is really nice for that if you want to, if that's what you're aiming for. But I don't want to make this person too jacked. He's athletic, but he's not like a bodybuilder or anything. I already made that mistake up here, as you can see. He's freaking destroyed. Like he just goes in the gym and just destroys his body. But it wasn't supposed to be that way. I can just smooth all this out. And this is a little. This. I think this is two muscles. Well, there's like a divide here, or a tendon or stretch or whatever. That's a little too deep. I have to. That dude is packing. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was like I said. It's not on his body. It's out a little bit, so it kind of looks bloated. Looks like he's kind of wearing a diaper. But I just put that there, just to get a shape, just a general shape. It's actually smaller if I take this off, but I can't take it off because we're on Twitch. I don't want Twitch to. I don't think they'll. It's just a mound. It's not even anything there. But he has a full crack there, and I'm in the rules. I believe that is not allowed in any way, shape, or form. Uh, okay, I have to work on his calves. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and take a look at his hamstrings here. Yeah, that was kind of unintentional, but it's okay. I'll just adjust it later. Damn, poor guy. You basically just said he put socks down his drawers. Yeah, yeah. What I was saying is, I think I have to in order to cover it, I would have to make that area smaller than it should be, and then cover it, and then it'll look normal. But this isn't gonna stay though. Like I have a garment add-on right here where I can put actual clothes over, and it'll simulate cloth. So that's a little better. Honestly, on every one of my messages, every one of my meshes, I always make the butts too big for some reason. I don't, I it's something I have to work on. Like when I do a woman, it looks like they have a Brazilian butt lift. It's completely unintentional, I promise. I try not to make them too I guess ideal. That's something that I have to work on myself. Like I said, it sounds like a stylistic choice. Yeah, probably, probably. Yeah, I don't know. They're all very stacked. It was an accident. Doing them by order of appearance. I don't know. You, I think I don't know. I might just do some because I don't want to just do all sculpt. I might just do just like a random drawing. There's some things I need to draw anyway. I'm working on the calf now. It should be like this these two bulbous muscles, like so, that lead up into the back of the knee, which is also there's like a little protrusion here, like this, and then you'll have the two dips on the other side on either side of that this cylinder that I just put, and then the hamstrings, which right now are, I don't think his legs, are his legs too long? I don't think so. Maybe they are. I may have to pull his knees up some. I'll adjust it later. I might just adjust it. I might adjust the proportions of this off stream. I don't know if I'll have the time to do it here, but it's very minor tweaks that I do off stream. I try not to make too much progress. I think I see. This is why I wish that people didn't overdo it when they allowed the artistic nudity, because then I could have done everything on stream and it would have been done. This would have been done already, but due to me trying to find a balance between interacting with the chat and the art, I'm working a little bit slower. But like I said, it's something that I need to work on, so I don't mind it at all. I'm still, as this is starting out. I've streamed before, but I didn't put nearly as much effort. Like I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a mic or anything. I just streamed a video game. I literally just turned the stream on and played something and just left it at that. So I'm still have a lot of adjusting to this, but it's okay. I like it. I always wanted to do this eventually anyway. I was going to wait until I had the all the characters made and then just do the pages on the stream. But I thought, yeah, I guess I could just stream this too. I could just stream the design of the character. It's a contemporary story. It's not, so it's going to be a lot of like just regular clothes and whatnot. There are some fantastic elements in it, some sci-fi stuff, but for the most part, it's not like there's not like crazy costumes or anything. At least not yet, anyway. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay. Hang on. Looking at a reference here. The back of, I'm using Anatomy for Sculptors. That's helped it greatly in learning how to sculpt. It is very helpful. It's very detailed. You can see muscles and body parts from many angles. And that's how you want to sculpt, because as you can see, this is a little deformed, so you want to look at everything from all sides. And that will help with sculpting. Okay, I'm gonna push this in a little bit just so I can see what the heck is going on here. Okay. I'm gonna smooth this out because it looks very rough. Very rough surface. What you said about muscles reminds me of a statue at USC. Yeah. It's very statuesque meshes here that I've been making. And I think that's because most of the time it's because I'm trying to define the muscles and I think I overdo it. But like I said, it's an easy fix. You just smooth it out a little bit and it'll bring it in line. You just define the line here a little bit. I'll do that later, but if you just smooth it out, then it'll start looking a little more natural, I would say. Because to get a build like this, you would have to do like a lot of reps for like the muscle separation look, and it's just for show too. And then on top of that, you would dehydrate yourself, and if you will, and you'll see all the muscle groups and whatnot. That's not a realistic thing for to normally have. That's just for show. You would have more like a a strong man or a lumberjack build. It's a statue of Achilles, I think, where every single muscle in his body is flexing. Yeah, yeah. Achilles. Yeah, I like that movie, Troy. Yeah, it's like a weight cutting body. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna typically see that even in an athletic person. That's literally just for show. Oh, well, that's their body for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that's very unhealthy to do too. When you got cut weight, you just all sick, sitting there all sick and throwing up because you starve yourself and I don't know how what they do, but I followed very lightly some combat sports. Like I haven't really been seeing them in years, but I used to watch boxing and UFC a lot, and that's very unhealthy. It's a very unhealthy practice to do. It would be easier to just, okay, all right, you're a couple of pounds over, okay, we'll just take some, well, some other way than just make the weight. Anything, any kind of compromise would work other than that. Yeah, his legs are slightly too long, but I'll fix it later. I think his hamstrings look okay, I guess. Let me see. LOL, they actually have a compromise in Asian MMA where they test hydration. Everyone just cheats. Sounds like pride. Sounds like pride fighting to me. They didn't test for steroids or anything. It's hey, look, you're probably gonna need them. Everyone's on steroids, so just get on steroids. Okay, so okay, I see what I can do here. I'm going to do this. Pride was the best. You didn't have to cheat. It was allowed. Yeah, wasn't really cheating over there. They did a lot of like shady stuff in the background because they had the organized crime had a big hand in. I think that was Pride anyway. Yakuza, they did fix some fights. There's some very questionable fights, especially Bob Sapp's fights. If you don't know who Bob Sapp is, you've seen The Longest Yard. He's the big black guy in the Longest Yard. It was The Longest Yard, right? No, it wasn't The Longest Yard. It was that Rob Schneider movie, I believe. He was in one of those jail movies. I forget. There's a movie out there where Rob Schneider has to go to jail, but he learns martial arts from David Carradine. I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, he was in The Longest Yard. Okay, cool. I think he's in both of those movies. Now that I think about it. No, he isn't. He's not in the other one. Yeah, he's in The Longest Yard. Yeah. The one who gets his nose broke. That's Bob Sapp. He was big in Pride fighting, but some of the fights that he did looked like they were he threw some matches, and people always wondered about that. I know, and I've seen the fights personally too. I wonder about it too. So I don't know. That guy is a freak of nature. Maybe. Oh, see, I'm going to define these a little bit more, and then we're going to smooth them out. That way, we know that they're there, but they're not super defined. Not supposed to be. I don't have a lot of. I think I only have like one jacked character. It wasn't even a secret. He would tell promoters he was going to fight for 2 minutes and then go down. Oh wow, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I think that was like a phantom punch or something, or it was like something that barely connected, and he just flopped. I was like, oh man, they must be paying him a lot of money. He's actually very popular in Japan. Bob Sapp. He's more popular over there than he is over here. Like he's a big star. He does commercials and appears on TV and other shows there. So I mean, I guess more power to him. But yeah, he's got a big following over there. He's a celebrity in Japan. Big celebrity. He got paid super well. I want to say his rate is 40K a fight with people knowing that. Yeah, that's interesting, huh? Yeah, I didn't know how much he got paid, but from just what I generally know, like when you see things from that country and he's in a lot of things. I don't TV movie. I think he's in movies anyway. I'm not sure. Like I don't see that many Japanese movies. I do watch them from time to time. He could make way more if he was legit, but knowing he's not, he could still get that. Yeah, I'm sure he's still pretty popular over there. Okay, I'm gonna add this line here. He's over in Thailand now with Fight Circus. Oh, really? Huh? What's he doing over there? Kickboxing? They don't play around over there. Those Muay Thai fights are brutal, man. They got these really young kids. Like they're basically kids. They retire like many of them retire like in their early 20s with hundreds of fights. Like that's how it is over there, and they're really good. That's crazy. But they're like the pinnacle of that martial art though. People go over there to train when they if they know Muay Thai, they go over there and train because those are the best of the best. He recently had a Siamese twins boxing fight where he was tied to Rampage Jackson and he fought the promoter tied to another dude. He's still doing, yeah, he does a lot of circus fights, a lot of spectacle fights over there. That's very big in that part of the world where you have like a big sumo dude versus like a little guy or whatever. Or like a I wouldn't say sumo, like an obese person, like a really obese person. He's like 600 pounds, and then there's like a skinny dude, or just something like it's like a big size difference. They like that stuff over there. Thailand and Russia are all about freak shows. Yeah, freak shows. Yeah, yeah, Russia. Yeah, yeah. They got some killers over there too, as far as UFC or MMA is concerned. You ever see that slap boxing? That's oh, not slap box. Those slap fights. Man, never seen anybody get slapped that hard. Every other country is like, get that weird shit out of here. Yeah. I mean, it's a spectacle. We used to do that too, back in the 1920s, those freaking circus show fights. But I mean, it was crazy though. They did like 15, 20 rounds. Matter of fact, they kept fighting until somebody was knocked out. Like knocked out cold. Didn't matter no matter time it didn't matter how many times you got knocked down. If you can get back up, you're gonna fight. They're gonna make you fight. Okay, what I want to do is I want to try to get the shin here, and then I'm gonna do the side of the calf. Rounds were different in old timey boxing too. Rounds weren't timed. Yeah, they sure weren't. They fought outside, and whoever didn't get back up lost. That's it. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Just those archive footage of those fights. You know, Mike Tyson used to follow that too. He watched every. I'm pretty sure he watched every fight in the book by now. But he studied all those fights. Rounds ended in a knockdown, so a round could be like 20 minutes. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bob Sack versus Noguera. I don't think I've seen that one. How you doing, realness? Yeah, those are a lot. It's a lot. Did not play around. And you know they didn't. They wasn't checking for no CTE back then. So I'm sure. I'm sure everybody had it. Okay, let me see here. Going to get the front a little bit here. Just to get this little. It's like this little front muscle here that wraps around like that. And we're going to smooth that down. Hey, realness. What do you think about that Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight? What do you think about that spectacle? Like, I'm happy that Mike's probably going to get paid, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of hope that he wins. I kind of hope that he knocks Jake Paul out because he's only fighting people who aren't really fighting that much anymore. But he is a good he. I mean, I gotta say though, he is putting a lot of effort into this career though. It's not like he's a pushover. He seems like he's getting the right training and he can do things pretty well when he puts his mind to it. I think I saw him when he was in wrestling. I was like, man, this guy, he's when he decides to do something, he's actually putting effort into it. Jake Jake Paul doing anything makes me sad. It is Jake, right? Or is it Logan? I can't I get them mixed up. I get them mixed up. So I don't know which one is which. Whichever one is doing the boxing and the wrestling. I don't follow those people at all. I only hear of them when they decide to fight someone. So forgive me. Jake is the boxer, Logan wrestles. Okay. Well, they're both pretty believable, I would say, when it comes to either of those. But they're not they're not my cup of tea, but they seem to put the effort in. Yeah, I've seen it actually. I've seen clips of what he was doing at I guess whatever match he was in. I said, man, he actually looks like a wrestler. I ain't gonna lie. So, I mean, good for them in that regard, but I'm not a fan of their work. I'm gonna smooth that out some. Okay, now it's time to work on these Achilles tendons. Achilles was brought up earlier. Carve them in right now. I'm just gonna leave this deformed because once once I put the feet in, then we can finish that up. Yeah, Jake is actually a good boxer. People are just mad because his name is bigger than what a boxer at his level should be, and because he keeps blapping MMA favorites. Yeah, he's. I mean, if you think about it, he's no different than the so-called villains of MMA and boxing, but it's just this off his antics outside of the ring, I guess, or why people hate him. And like I know he did that whole thing in Japan where he was making fun of people who were killing themselves and whatever else he did. I don't know. I don't. Like I said, I don't follow his antics. But I did hear about that. It's probably more that than anything. He's no different though from anybody else who talks trash and is cocky and all that. The Japanese force thing was messed up. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I heard about that. Well, from what I can tell, Jake is actually worse than those people. Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because they wouldn't do anything like that. I was comparing what he did in relation to fighting, not the outside stuff. But I think it's because of the outside stuff is the reason why people don't like him very much. I mean, like I said, I don't follow his channel or his content or anything like that. That's just it's not my cup of tea. It's not my speed, but he's a good boxer. Give him that. I saw the only one that I've seen was the Mayweather one. Like his kids on his staff. Like he has kids on his staff and he'll terrorize them. Yeah, he's probably not a good he's probably not a good person outside the ring. I didn't pay for the fight, so it's like no skin off my back. It's not something that I would go out of my way for. But I did see it. I forget how I saw it, but I did see it. I remember seeing it. It's a crypto scam aimed at kids. Oh yeah, I did hear about that, right? Yeah, it was like some kind of help, some kind of self-help program, right? Oh no, that was something else. But he had like a didn't he have something where he's like, I can show you how to be a millionaire on YouTube, and it was like the most basic information ever, and he was supposed to like refund people or whatever because it was a scam, something like that. I don't know, but that's not the first thing that he did. Yeah, the self-help thing. Yeah, it's like that type of like that type of thing. Yeah, that's another reason why people don't like him too. It's all that other stuff. It's like I don't know, man. I don't know. He's something else. Like I said, I don't follow it too closely. This is just something that I've heard, over time. Didn't really look into it too much, so I don't know. But apparently that's what he did, allegedly. Okay, we got this little bump here. That's not supposed to be there. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to beef that up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna check this the a different angle here. I want to pull them out so they're more rounded. So that's what I'm doing now. Honestly, don't know what shape they should be in. Actually, I don't think I have that angle. I have most angles, but I don't have that angle. So I'm just gonna. I mean, I know the basic, the general shape, but I don't know the exact shape. It doesn't have. There really doesn't have to be an exact shape because it'll vary from person to person. Since this person is a little more in shape, I'm just gonna make them proportionate to the rest of their body. That's always a safe bet. It should be out a little bit. So should this. That's why you got to look at it from every angle. That way you can see what to fix. My brush is too large though. I'm affecting more than I should be. Okay, I'll just smooth it out. Hopefully I won't flatten it what I just did. Just smooth out a little bit. When you make models that you intend to use for a specific purpose, do you draw the entire body each time? Yes. At first, no, I wasn't. I would use pre-made bodies. For I used pre-made bodies once for one of them, but that was just for practice. I had learned at that point how to do it, but I just wanted to see the difference between doing it from one sphere and just doing it from a pre-body. Yeah, it's easier, but it was on a different program. It was in ZBrush. In ZBrush, you would sculpt. You could sculpt the body. It didn't matter if you did it from a sphere or a pre-made body, but in ZBrush you could do a lot more. Like the program could handle like tens of millions of polygons, so you can go as far as you want. And then all you would have to do is just hit a button like Z remesher. You can clone the body, make that body low poly, and then take the high quality details and put it on the low body details with like the click of a button. But here I'm gonna have to do it by polygon, so it's a little different. It's a little different method. Technically, this add-on right here does the same thing, and it's made by the same person who made Z Remesher. But if I use this, it's not really the same as Z Remesher. So I want to do that manually. It's going to erase some of the detail that I've done here. I've already tried it. So I wanted to see if there was any way I could make the process a little faster. Maybe like take a day off or so. It only takes me like a week or so to do a body. It's only slower here because I'm streaming it and I'm still like working on that on that balance. But yeah, it's no big deal. I'm sure I could probably like once I get the hang of this of doing it this way, it would only take like a few days to do it, maybe like a one day. I've been streaming later than I wanted, but I'm sure I could do this in one session if I really like concentrated. It's okay. Like I said, I don't mind. It's all for fun anyway. Uh, I'm checking the shape of the body. I think this is okay for now. We'll do little tweaks here and there later as we go along. See if I can. I want to. Well, these aren't really that defined. Doesn't have to be that deep. Just want to see the shape of the calf since he has a little more defined calves. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it less defined. I don't think they have to be that defined. I'm gonna do something I've never done before for the next model. I'm gonna do a person that is not in shape at all. That's gonna be a challenge for me because I've never done a model that way. But that's the next character that appears, so gotta do it. I try to make characters of all kinds of types, just so I can learn how to draw any kind of person. Thought it'd be good for practice, but yeah, it's a lot. And this story takes place all over the world, so we need more fat representation. Yeah, yeah. I got a someone who is extremely skinny, almost anorexic. Like it's not for the sake of it. It's like it's like a it's just varied body types. But yeah, I had people from all because the story takes place like in various parts of the world, so that'll give me a reason to draw different people. I guess that was like I always assumed like I always thought of the story that way. Like it's like a kind of like a a thriller, like an espionage type thing. So there's a lot of traveling and whatnot. Like we got to go over here, we got to go over here, and then go over there or whatever. I don't know. It's just a story that like I don't think I planned that. I think it's just something that happened during the course of the story. I actually don't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna make this less defined. It should be one shape because I think that little divide is only at the bottom, and then the rest of this is just one shape. So that's what I'm gonna try to adjust here. Like I say it doesn't have to be hyper realistic because I don't I like I think I have like a semi realistic art style when I draw and when I actually draw, but I'm just doing it like I'm doing this in more realistic just so I can have the reference there and just go from there. Most of it is just it's just shading anyway. Like I wouldn't put lines here. I would do this with color and just have the outline like more like a comic book style, I guess. But we'll see. I don't know. It's calves are a little bit bumpy. I'm gonna see if I can make them slightly more uniform in shape, just a little bit in that area, and then just put that little divide right just at the bottom. Should be how a calf goes. Okay, that. Okay, now I think I should move his knees up a little bit. I hope I don't mess this up here. Let me see. Just gonna move them up slightly. They should be up a little bit higher. There's a better like normally you would mask the parts that you don't want to move, but I'm just gonna move everything. That way you don't stretch what you did out, but this should be fine. I think this is fine. want to make the muscle start a little higher, the calf muscle. Okay, I'm just checking the sides now. Like I said earlier, there's like a little, you have the S curve of the spine, and then you have another S for the legs, and the legs are just slightly back a little bit. I'm also very new to clothing too. Like I have this garment tool here. It has some presets, but I recently, like I say like a couple of weeks ago, I learned how to mask out parts of the body and then just make clothes out of that. That's actually way easier than using this. I'm gonna use a combination of both. That's how I made this underwear here. Just made it. I just masked it out and inflated it, and then put like very slight clothing stretches. All right, I think I'm gonna add the hands. So we'll tweak the body as we go on here. I'm just looking at proportion. I'm gonna adjust this later. I gotta make this smaller because this is it's a little too much, especially with the underwear on there. Let's see here. Make his legs a little bit smaller too. Like I said, I'll adjust that later. I'm gonna do the hands. Okay. All right. Control I to flip that. I'm going to extrude this the easy way instead of just pulling it out because that sometimes it comes out crooked, and I'd rather not have to correct more than I need to. Mask border. We're just going to use the move tool this time. I'm going to stretch out the palm of the hand up to the knuckle. If it turns out too much, I think I'll just scale it. I'll scale it up. That should be it here. Yeah. Okay. I'll end that. And then we'll stretch it out to the palm. Or stretch out the palm, I should say. Oh wait, hold on. What I need now is I need to look at a hand. So we're gonna put the wrist bones in there. That'll help us with placing all the other details. Might be a little wider than that. Let's see here. Okay, we're gonna need a little bit more. I'm just gonna pull it out though. I'm just gonna pull out this clay or these polygons. A little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we have a bone. We have gonna have a little bony landmark here for the wrist, and a smaller one on the other side. I think it's smaller on the other side. Yeah, this song. think that's a YouTube song. I don't know. I don't know who did it. Hang on, let me. I don't think I actually heard this song. Oh yeah, I don't know. That was from a playlist. That was from someone else's playlist. Most of these video game songs were already on my computer. Like I have that and I have real songs, but I couldn't put the real songs in for obvious reasons. But it's okay. They're not gonna show up in the VOD. It'll just be my voice in the VOD. I double checked that. I screwed up the first stream. The music actually does appear, and I think there was one song that I mistook for a video game song. It was actually a real song, but I just edited it out. It's not a big deal. Like I have the typical. I made a typical archive on YouTube. YouTube was like, we're not gonna do anything about this song. It's just know that it's there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just take it out. What's the webcomic about? It's about a college student, two college students who they're trying to save their one of their friends from a terminally ill disease, and they stumble upon a black project that could help them do it. And it's a stolen project, and then the government, there's like a secret world government that wants the project, and it kind of like kicks off the whole story. That's basically what it's about. It's like one's rich, one's a genius. It's science fiction. It's a science fiction. It's more than science fiction, but it's mostly science fiction. Okay, I'm gonna extrude the fingers here. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me. I'm going to have to remesh. I have the voxel sizes written down that I've been using for my meshes, so I want to make sure that I use the right parameters here. Oh yeah, you can't see. Oh yeah, you can see that. Okay, cool. I thought my head was blocking it. But yeah, this here will give me more polygons. The lower you set this, the more polygons you're gonna end up with. And that's it's got it's got like martial arts in it. It's got fictional political intrigue or whatever. It's got espionage. It's got all kinds of stuff in it that I put in the webcomic because they're gonna have all these types of people that come after them. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to put the things in here. Looking for the mask. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to do the fingers now. it's a very complicated story, but that is the most simple I could say for it for now. I put a I that's why I'm editing it now. I'm making because it has a there's a lot of content in the story, and I want to make sure that it all makes sense and that there's no plot holes, and every one of these characters has their own motivations and themes and whatnot that they have to go through in the story, whether they're protagonists or antagonists. It's like a very it's a very gray. I think I would say it's a very gray morality story for the most part. Like everybody has their reasons for doing what they do in the story, but it's like a gray perspective. There's only like a very few people that are like just very terrible people or extremely good. It's like, but everyone is like a it's told from a great perspective. Oh right, mass no sculpt set pivot to mask border. We're going to use the move tool again. I'm going to extrude the fingers. Now this is just a placeholder for the hand. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into it. It took me 3 years to write the story. I wrote it. I stopped everything because like I said, I used to stream before. I stopped streaming and I set an amount of a certain time per day. I'm not a I'm like I have a good interest in science, I think, but I don't know. There like a lot of the subjects that I wanted to tell for the science fiction part of the story. I didn't really know a lot of. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a very long time. Like now I know how George Martin feels, and I'm like I'm an amateur writer. Okay, I don't write. I don't. This is the most effort I've ever put into a story that I made for my art. Normally I would just go off the top of my head or whatever. Like I brainstorm a lot of ideas and and I have like a quite a few stories in this universe that I want to tell. But I was like, okay, well let me set some of this stuff in stone for this. And I started off by I was like, okay, I need this kind of character. I need this kind of character. This is the absolute first character that I've created for this story. It's not the first character that I used for this story. Like I had the main character. I it was a character I created like when I was in high school, and it's like a scientist guy. Uh, and in the original story that I had when I wrote in the high school, that was more of like an action anime esque story. And there was going to be this point in the story where the main character of that story meets the main character of this story, and there was going to be like this big exposition dump, like Metal Gear Solid, because I'm a fan of that game. I was like, okay, I wanted to do something like write a story like that, kind of like it has some influence, like right, some what do you call it? I can't think of the guy Yoji Shinkawa. Like I used to study his art because I like this art, and Hideo Kojima. Like I took some inspiration from them. I thought Twitch said no cheeks. Yeah, yeah, he's got underwear on. They have to be covered. They are covered. I made sure they were covered. That's all. You can't you can't you can't see it because of the mask. Hang on. See, I gave him just put some black. I put a black covering over. Yeah, it's because I said this before, but it's because it's not actually on him. It's just covering him, so it looks bigger than it should. So what I was saying is I need to make this part smaller so that way when I cover it, it looks normal. Kind of like how Barbie dolls are made, right? A lot of there's a a lot of girls out there who judge their appearance off of body or off of Barbie, but they only make Barbie that skinny because the clothes they put on her will bulk her up. and make her look normal. It's because he does a lot of squats. Everybody loves Mythbusters. Yeah, it was intent. It wasn't. It was unintentional. But I gotta say, uh, I a lot of my characters have that too. So that's something. I guess that's something I need to work on. Like all of my women characters have BBLs. I didn't mean to do it. Work on by making them bigger. Sure, sure. You know, if that's what if that's what you want, I'll do it. I have characters of all body types, so I mean, you most likely will see bigger and smaller too. Maybe got to give the people what they want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I see a lot of I see that. You know, I see when people actually do a lot of fan service, it works out for them. For me, it feels like pandering. So I just want to tell the story that I want to tell. But it's interesting. I am a bit curious. Like, say, like if I was like, okay, if I made it an anime style or made these characters furry, I wonder how much more would that more of an audience would I get for that? You know, or put like cheesecake in my story. I don't, but I know I told the story. I told it. It's just a pretty standard story. It's not. It wasn't for that. But I do wonder sometimes. If I were to do these things, would that actually draw an audience? Because that's what you want. You just want people to read it at the end of the day. At least I do. Just read it. That's all. It doesn't have to be successful. I think the worst thing that you can get is nothing when if you post something online and just nothing. There's no for art anyway. You just post it and then that's it. That's all you get. No one's even looking at it. I think that's the worst thing in the world. Like I can see, like, okay, a couple thousand people saw this art. That's fine, right? But if but if but if you post it and it's like nothing, that's like the worst thing for an artist. So because you obviously you want people to see it. I don't think anybody uh posts things and there's nothing. You just want people to see what you did, right? It's meant to be looked at. It was fine. I'm not really worried about that because when I did post my art online, I had a small fan base, so it was nice. But I haven't posted anything in years. I stopped posting online to write this story. 10 times revenue instantly. LOL. Now I'm wondering how much trash anime has a decent story but injected boobs to sell. Yes, yes, that's a good question. I see it all the time because when I was writing the webcomic, I was like, okay, what are other people doing? What are other people doing? How are they making their web comics? And it's a common path to take. When they make that type of comic. I've seen comics of all types. I've seen I've studied why web comics don't do well. Like why did they stop? And I took that information and applied it to my own work. The biggest reason is because they don't finish them. So what I did was I wrote the entire story, the entire volume 1. If I never like I have 3 volumes planned, right? But if I never make the other 2, volume 1 is a standalone story. It doesn't rely on anything else to be consumed to understand the story. So if I manage to write and draw everything, it'll be complete, and that's it. If anything, if there for any reason I should never ever continue the story, it'll be done. Um, I'm the only one working on it, so the second biggest reason is you have an artist and you have a writer, and then there's some kind of disconnect or falling out, or they grow apart, whatever the case. I don't have to worry about that. It's just me. It'll just take longer for me to do it since I'm the only one working on it. Um, and as far as the story itself, well, I mean, obviously that's subjective, but it is complete. And um, there aren't there, as far as I can tell, there aren't any plot holes. It makes sense. Everything connects. If anything, at this point, when I edit it, it's usually just truncating the line so that way the point is across. The point gets across, and it's not super wordy. It is a lot of words though. So, but to compensate, uh, not putting a wall of text on the screen, I'll just draw more pages. It's no big deal. I know a lot of webtoons website for even though it's not, there's more like manhwas and manga on that site. Um, or you know what I did? I put the thing backwards. This should be over here, and this should be over here. Um, they put two lines per panel on webtoons. You might get a little more in a Western comic and more panels too. I want to kind of do the best of both, right? If there's a panel with speaking lines in it, maybe do two phrases there, but have the same panel style as a Western comic because I don't know enough about manga to mimic how that looks. I know a lot of webtoons may have one giant panel and then you just scroll down like if you're on a phone, or just three big equally sized panels. The vertical format of webtoon bothers me while making art. Yeah, I don't like it either, to be honest. I want to do it like in the Western style where you have, specific panels, and I actually have some stuff when I do start making the panels to study to see like the exact parameters of how it was done. So I want to do that. I want to do it that way. But yeah, that's all. That's like the biggest things that I was worried about. I'm not worried about the content of the story. It's not super NSFW. I if anything, it's only done because the story called for it. It's not meant to be like a gory or a violent, um or like a super NSFW story. But so it should be fine in that regard. I think maybe even for webtoons because they're a little strict, it's hard to find a high traffic site to post in Western style. Topwebcomics.com, I believe, might fit that criteria. There are others, but I don't know if they're still around. I see, like I said, I see a lot of sites for manga and manhwas because that's what it's very popular. It's a very popular thing. Like I said, I wonder, like if I made it, if I just made it an anime. I had, like I said, I haven't drawn anime in since '98, so it would basically be me having to develop a style first for anime and then doing that. But at this point, like literally all I have to do is just set the character designs in stone, like here, and then draw the pages. That's literally all I have to do. And the editing I can do as I go along. I'm already pretty far into that, so I can literally start the pages now once I have the characters, or soon once I have the characters ready for a scene, and and then just edit it and draw it as I go along. Okay, I'm trying to get the bone here. I think I might have made it too high. So what I'm gonna do is instead of control Z, I'm just going to smooth that out and redo it because the palm is here and the wrist should come right after. But you can see I have a space there. So I wish more anime had a sense of style. Now I'm a casual, so I don't have a lot of information to pull from. But the ones that I've noticed that have their own style, like JoJo is the first one that comes to mind. That looks like a style that not many people uh use in an anime. It's probably like the only anime that looks like that I can think of. I think that maybe there are others. I'm not sure. If there are others, it's probably from the same artist, but rather than the samey styles that are typically used. Yeah, it's something that's becoming streamlined, right? You know, in the 90s they used to have, I remember my friend Typo, he had a lot of how to draw anime books, and they had these different ways that you draw eyes. Like they had male and female eyes, you know, big, small. They had all the kinds of the styles of what you would do. They were all drawn differently. But now they seem like, what I've noticed is that they don't really do that anymore. Like everyone has the same exact features when they draw eyes, but it didn't used to be that way. That's probably just like you know, since they do a lot in a short amount of time, and the cost or whatever, they probably just streamline everything. Yeah, JoJo is a good it's like indie gaming. The ones that buck trends tend to be small and no one watched them. Yeah, that's the one thing that like I keep my mind on, right? Because I already know that like mine. I don't think mine is gonna really stand out, even though it might be a little different. But it's okay. Like I said, I just want to put it out there. That is my biggest goal, just to get it out there. And if it develops a fan base, then I'll just go from there. That is what I love about 70s, 80s anime. There's a decent amount of stylistic variety. Yes, there is. Yeah. That's when I first got into anime. That was still a thing, but you know, it's apparently it's costly nowadays to make anything. So it's going to be streamlined just for that reason. And then you have to, you know, they're paying for, you know, what works, you know, like everyone else does. At least in my opinion. I don't really know for sure. I'm like not like an insider or anything. I'm an amateur, but as someone who observes a lot, you know, I don't might not consume everything, but I do observe what's happening for the most part. That's what it seems like to me. Now, this is just the basic forms of the hand here, right? It's gonna have like some flippers, and then they're eventually going to be like Grand Theft Auto 3 hands, but eventually we're gonna separate the fingers and make actual hands. This is just for, you know, just to get the basic forms in. That's what it is. It's easier to use common art styles because training artists to be on model is time consuming and costly. Yeah, you to do that stuff nowadays would be just to do your own thing, which is what I'm doing. I don't know what they're teaching in the industry now, but that's what I'm going to do. I want to do some animations too, like some real animations. I have a way that I can do it, and it's not going to look like, you know, what I did for the channel, because those are just a little rough. That was just to get something out for the channel, you know. But I think I have a way of doing it. I can animate in Blender here, you know, for my second story, not volume 2 or volume 3, but there's the story that was supposed to be, you know, the two main characters meeting, like I said earlier. That story I wanted to do in animation. It's like a I guess you would say it's a sequel story to this story. In anime, it's produced like factory work, not creative work. No time to train, learn new stuff. They teach Cal arts in the West and clean style in the East. Yeah, I've seen Cal arts. Yeah, yeah, very common. Cal art style. I thought about doing. uh like Loomis techniques in my animation, but I don't know. Like I said, that's gonna be a lot of time to sit aside just to work all that stuff out, and then I still have to set in stone because I know how the animated story is gonna go because I've brainstormed it for years. So the only thing I have to do at this point is just to set it in stone and write it down, write down the dialogue. That's how I learned. I like the squash and stretch and how they did the techniques they used in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like I kind of want to study that because that's very interesting to me. You know how they did the lighting, how they made the lighting fit in the scene, especially when there's this one scene where they have the lamp swinging and they animate Roger Rabbit in the way that the light is swinging. They made the lighting fit on the cartoon character, made him look like he was actually there. Yeah, there's some pretty interesting techniques that they use for that people don't do anymore in anything animated unless it's 3D. I mean they push in that direction further, but as far as hand drawn, they don't really do anything like that. It's mostly computer now. Yo, Roger Rabbit is low key a masterpiece. It's really good, especially if, like to study for animation. It's really good. A lot of that was easy because they drew in cells over the film. Yeah, yeah. I have a I guess it would be a study of that animation bookmarked on YouTube for when I get around to doing that. Because um, well, yeah, when I'm free, I think I'm gonna start doing that. Not now, but when I get pretty far, when I get pretty comfortable with the web comic, I'm just okay. I could put out a couple pages. I'll probably start working on that. Filmmaking is very strong. They developed a groundbreaking version of rotoscoping. It's very interesting. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that too. I'm thinking about animating these meshes and then rotoscoping them. I was really thinking about that because then I won't have to worry about where to put the lines per se because it's but I don't really have to do that for Blender. I can really just animate a mesh and make it look 2D. Yeah, that's something I can do. But I don't know. Like I said, I still have to work out how I want to do it. What is rotoscoping? Is That's when you animate over a real life uh not real life. Well, it's not typically real life, but a real life video of something. Like you could have actual people act out a scene and then just animate over that. That's what Disney has done. Disney does it. Uh I guess Warner Brothers done it. Like some of that is rotoscoping. It's not all done by hand. Interesting enough, they don't allow rotoscoping in Japan. They're like, no, you can't do that. It's very little, but typically they don't allow it in their stuff. Okay, I'm just making sure that the finger shapes are good here. Like I said, these are just the basic shape of the hand. Um, we're going to make actual fingers in the future. I'm going to add the thumb, just making sure it's all in the right place here. May have to remesh it again so I can get more polygons going. Oh, yeah, all the studios still do it to this day. Yeah, I like the way it looks. And in my case, I want to do like animation on top of animation because I don't have any I don't have a studio, but I could work out the animation here with a rig, right? Since it has the IK movements will make it realistic, make everything move the way it was. I would have to set it up to where because apparently you can make it so you can make an IK rig that will actually look like muscles. Like if you've seen If you ever see the newest Street Fighter, how they have how when Ryu does something, his muscles actually flex. Like you can actually do that in Blender. I just need to figure out how. That's all. And then I could like draw over that, you know? Because I always imagined it to be like a 2D thing. Of course, I can make this look 2D, but I kind of want to do it by hand just to just to see what it's like, you know. Okay, let me see. Make sure the fingers are in the right place. It says it's very basic shape of the finger, and I'm going to put they they do it with even Lion King and Toy Story for mapping. I didn't know that about Toy Story. Um, it's interesting. Well, I guess they could for Lion King. You can have the ace. That's why I want to learn grease pencil. It's that powerful. Yeah, I've noticed that brush. That's not it. Where's grease pencil? Oh, it's not here. It's around here somewhere. I haven't used it yet, so but I've seen it. You know, when I was studying, when I was learning how to do, I've seen grease pencil somewhere on this on this program. Yeah, yeah. Lion King's animation is really fucking cool. Yes, it's I guess you could have somebody in a suit, right, acting it out. Like what's his name? What's the name of that guy who they always get him to get in the suit and he played Smeagol and it's always him. He was the guy from Planet of the Apes, and it's a Blender sub program. It's for 2D art to be made and animated in 3D. Yeah, I got let me tell you what I got here. Oops. That's not what I got. I got nothing there. It's on my other thing. I have open tunes. I have something else. I don't know what happened here. Oh, I hit Blender render. Not time to render it yet. That's one of the F buttons. Open tubes fell off hard. Oh yeah, I can send it to you. I had to. They had the actors run their lines and they drew the faces over them. For the faces, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I can see it now. Now that you mentioned it, yeah. I guess they could do it that way. Yeah, yeah. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it. I have the Roger Rabbit thing bookmarked too to tell you what I was talking about. I'm gonna put the knuckles in. Lion King feels like peak classic animation. Yeah, it really is. I think I don't know how the others were done. I think there was some like Don Bluth animation. That's a good one too. I think all of those were hand drawn. I'm not sure if they were rotoscope, but they use a lot of the classic techniques too. Treasure Planet is also very advanced. I would say modern animation arcane is one of the best, not including insane stuff like Thief and The Cobbler. Yeah, yeah. All very interesting. Very interesting animations to study when you want to get into that. I want to do it, but I am going to start with the basics before before I try any other stuff. Hang on. It's time to rematch. Look at that. It's all mangled and destroyed. I got to go down to 003 and remesh. All right, now we can build it out. Treasure Planet, I have never seen. Um, but I was looking at some scenes from The Road to El Dorado. That's very realistic animations. Like what's her name, Shell. Like they have the hair, like they'll have her flip her hair. It's very realistic looking. I want to do something like that. I could manage it here in Blender, but I want to draw over that. But I want to make sure I get like things like that. Like I want to do something more than the flash type animation that people do. Just for the heck of it. I like doing challenging things. Like I like things that I don't know how to do. I like going out of my comfort zone. That's a good way to get better at art. It's just doing things that you're not really used to doing. This was one of them for me. If you keep trying, you'll get it. For Treasure Planet, the animators had to use 5 programs to get the effects they wanted. Disney animators were doing witchcraft in the 90s. Yeah, in the 80s, in the 70s. And when did Cinderella come out? Wasn't it like 1940 something? Yeah, they've been doing this for a long time. Of course, back then it was all hand drawn, but they for hand drawn, for them to manage looking like well, they did rotoscoping too back then, I guess, but some of that stuff that was the realistic movements were hand drawn. So it was very skilled animation made animators back then, and strict too. You can't just go into Disney. They gotta draw their way. Okay, that's the basic shape of the hand. And what I'm going to do is when I work on the primary shape, we're going to cut this hand off, right? We're going to cut that hand off, and we're going to cut these fingers off, and then we're going to shape this finger correctly, anatomically, and then clone it for each and every other finger. And that's how we're going to do the primary shapes. This is just the basic shapes. As long as you avoid puppet or paper animation and stick to 25 frames per second, you will avoid that look. Okay. It did rotoscope and copy trace. This is why tons of motions are identical. Snow White was their first feature film, still holds up. Snow White seems impossibly expensive to make today. Yeah, because it takes a lot of animators to do that stuff. They ain't trying to have that, you know. They already had a strike, didn't they? Because of the AI. what, do you, what do you think is gonna happen if they try to skimp out? You know, they try to take a shortcut or something like that. They're gonna have another strike. They are on strike right now still. Oh, they're still on strike? I thought they resolved that. What in the world? I thought they resolved it. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. It seems like they're still making movies. Everyone was like even people in the business was like, I can't write it. I can't write anything. That's kind of weird to me that you can't write anything or even talk about it because the strike is going on because you're a part of a guild. That seems counterintuitive to to an artist. I think you can't do the one thing that you're good at because of a strike because you're a part of a guild. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I mean, I'm not in the business, so but I get it. Solidarity and everything. Like I put food on I'm not saying me, but I'm speaking from their perspective. I put food on my table with these skills, but I can't do it because there's a strike. I can't even talk about it. The animator strike is still going. The Marvel animators are back to work, but the Disney animators are striking. Disney can strike a little bit longer. Well, that's a big thumb. We'll just shape it. It's a little better. Okay, I'm gonna make it stick out like that. It shouldn't come up more than this. I might have to make I have to adjust the size of the hand, I think. Maybe not. Maybe this will work. Yeah, I think I might do that. The lack of Disney is noticeable and appreciated. They haven't been doing much animation, have they? Aren't they making like a Toy Story 5 or something? I don't know. And I guess X-Men 97 is technically a Disney animation now, right? Since they own Fox. By the way, 99, I did see it. I stayed up late uh last night to watch it. and it is as good as I thought it would be. You know, it's exactly what I expected back in the year 2000 when Evolution was coming out. That the cart X-Men 97 is exactly what I expected in Evolution. I didn't know it was going to be something different. I mean Disney in general. X-Men is Marvel animation, its own studio. Right. Thoughts? Yeah, I like it. It's they're doing it in the same, like it's almost like they, you know, besides the way it's drawn and animated, they're doing exactly what they did in the 90s. They're adapting the stories. It's multiple stories adapted into one because that's how they did the story in thing, like the thing with Storm. I think that's two different stories because she she lost her nerve in during the mutant massacre. Like she wasn't really, like she was technically the leader at the time. You know, when they did that in the original animation, and Cyclops wasn't there; he had left. The Madeline Pryor stuff that they did now actually happened back then in Mutant Massacre, and her being shot with a rifle uh, that screwed with her powers. That was something that Forge actually did in the comics. So it's kind of like a merged adaptation. I thought that was really cool how they kept doing that. And the whole thing with Bishop, they put Bishop and Cable's future together in the cartoon. But I like how they set that up. I figured they would you know, once I saw where it was going, because I know some of the stories that they are adapting. I was like, oh, okay, they're doing that. That's pretty cool. It's way better. It's way more mature, and the action is way better. Yes, by far. At first, you know, when I first heard Wolverine's voice, I thought I it didn't sound like him at first, but the more I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's the same guy. He's just like way older now. You know, you can't expect him to sound exactly the same. But he actually, some of the lines he does sound exactly the same. It's just like the other lines is like, I don't know. Like I don't know his history. Maybe you know, voice acting changes his voice or something, but I still hear the old Wolverine. I popped so hard when I saw Madeline show up. Yes, yep. As soon as I saw the second gene, I was like, they're doing it. And I was like, I was like, okay, so are they going to like cop out and say that the person that showed up at the door was just a fake gene? Dean didn't like Rhodes' voice. Had to show him it's the same woman. Yeah, I knew from the start it was. I mean, she's much older now. She's she is like she is an elderly person, but it's her. And so much time has passed, they're not going to sound the same. But yeah, I have no complaints as far as that show is concerned. It is exactly what I wanted 14 years ago. I'll keep up with it for sure. They finally did Cyclops right. Yes, they did. He's not a pushover. I don't think he ever was in the cartoon, but he never really did. He even in the cartoon he didn't do a lot. Like he had his moments in the cartoon. It wasn't like the movies where they basically just push him aside for in favor of Wolverine because Wolverine was so popular. But yeah, he's not a he is the leader of the X-Men. Valerie Cooper leads X Factor. I was kind of surprised that they let her. I mean, they put her in. X Factor was in the original cartoon. I wonder where they are because Valerie Cooper normally is dealing with them. She's usually in those comics. Got to extrude again since we made the thumb. Since we stretched out a thumb here out of the same mesh, got to remesh. I'm curious how it was spin off from where it's at. Yeah, like I said, I haven't read. I know of the stories. I know what happens in some of them. I haven't read them all. So when they do something, like I understand where they are coming from because um, I know some of those stories already. But yeah, I'm not sure what happens after the Goblin Queen stuff because I didn't really get into that. But if they're sending baby Cable into the future now, we'll probably see normal Cable pretty soon here. I mean, I don't know what story they're going to adapt, but they took out all the Mother Ascani stuff. I know in the comic books, Jean and Cyclops actually do they do send their minds to the future to raise their baby for a bit, and then they come back because Mother Ascani is a psychic, so she was able to do that for them. What in the world? After that is when Cyclops and Emma get together. Yeah, that's like there are some things that happen in between that, like I think Astonishing X-Men. No, there's Phoenix End Song and Beyond, because Phoenix End Song is when Jean dies again, and then Emma comes in, right? There's a Phoenix War Song and End Song, and then you have Astonishing X-Men, New X-Men, all that stuff. Um, but before that, Onslaught, I think you have Onslaught. No, they did Dark Professor X though. They just didn't do Onslaught. They did that in the old cartoon. Um, I'm trying to think what happened. Was it that stuff with Vargas where Gambit he lost his eyes for a bit and he was able to, hey, YAC78, welcome to the stream. Just doing some basic shapes of hands here. How you doing today? I hope you're having a great morning or just day in general wherever you may be. Yeah, Blind Gambit is before End Song. Yeah, I know that. And then there's the adamantium removal of Wolverine's adamantium. There was that. Was it the Zorn stuff? Did that happen before Jean dies? No, that was actually around there. I just took a business law test. LOL. Oh wow. Like a like a business law? Like are you doing like legal work? Is that like a bar? Is it something like that? Or is it just like an exam for whatever occupation you're doing there? For accounting. Okay. I hope you passed. This thumb is a little weird. I might have to. Looks like they're building toward House of M and M Day. Oh yeah, that might be after, but yeah, I see. They could. You know what? What I the last thing? Oh my! The last thing I remember is Professor X wasn't dead. They took him like Lalandra took him off the planet. That was like the last episode of the old series. So I'm wondering like what happened with that? They were like we could save him, but we got to take him off planet. And then they come back here and it's like oh no he's dead. So I'm like wait what happened? It's in his backstory. He was a Thumb War veteran. He's still in the credits. Yeah, I saw that. That's why I'm like, so what's going on there? You still have the Krakoa secret. You have all the stuff that Professor X is a part of. You know, when he had the when he sent the X-Men team, the old X-Men team, the Sentry stuff. But that's all like later though. I don't know. I don't know how far they're gonna go. They seem to be just continuing all the stories that happen, after the animation or during. They don't seem to be jumping ahead. So it's very interesting. But yeah, I'm on board. I like it. There's so much to go. They're condensing a ton. Yes, they are. They are. They are yeah, I like it though. I'm glad that they did it the way that they're doing it. I hope that they keep doing it. That'll give me a reason to watch Disney Plus. So I don't have a subscription, but I can just watch it on someone else's account. I stopped paying for it. I just got bored with it. I was like, man, I don't really care about Star Wars anymore, or and I'm sick of the Marvel movies. Like, there's nothing that I really want to see. They're making stuff that I don't really care about. So I was like, I don't really want to pay for this. They need to skit about a VA with non. I need to skip about a VA with non-combat veterans. Oh, well, that's still a thing. You're gonna have non-combat veterans deploy. Thumb war vets, console war, card game war vets. You're gonna have people who are not in combat MOSs that deploy and they're on the base, and bases do have to endure random attacks. They don't always report on those attacks on the news, but they happen almost every day. Most of them just get deflected because they have these giant miniguns that you'll hear them throughout the day. It's this loud hum and like crackling in the back, and they go off all hours of the day. So they're most likely shooting like mortars and rockets and stuff. Some of them get through, but that's a lot of deaths that they report. They report the deaths. You'll see those, but they don't really talk about that stuff on the news unless it's something like incredibly bad that some person did, that something they were supposed to be doing. CRAM, yeah. Thumb War Vets. Oh yeah, you said that. Card Game Vets. Oh, okay. Well, we can do a little better than that. Even though the thumb, you know what I'm gonna do? I gotta, I have to remesh this again. I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I messed up. I went too far. I think. Ah, screw it. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm gonna do a simpler red topology when this is done, or it should be fine. Looks like I need to remesh this again though. I can't do anything with this thumb. I'm gonna do it. Okay, that's a little better. I'm gonna shape it, make it actually look like a thumb. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, it's noon, so I'm gonna stop it here. I don't know how I want to do my storage on the server. Oh, you're not using drawers? Expanded storage needs pipes? Yes, they do. I saw that. Um, Create, but you're gonna have to build a lot of stuff. I was looking at that last night when I was on yesterday. It's a lot of in between, and it's more than pipes. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do mine either. Create storage is way too big. Yeah, it is. Um, there's still hoppers. It's a lot, but you can still make a hopper system. Might be the way to go. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I'm still got some work to do in the hands before we work on the feet, and then start doing the primary shapes. But this might be the end. Since we're at noon, that's my usual stopping time. I'm gonna stop at noon. I already saved it. All right. Oh, I see. OBS is they screwing my stream deck again. I can't use my stream deck. That's all right. All right. Thank you all for stopping by. I enjoyed doing this. I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And I will be back on Monday. I'm not gonna do any video game streams yet. You know, I'm still trying to balance out my schedule, so I'm just gonna try to space this out and not do it too much. I like doing it, so I'm not gonna try to burn myself out. But yes, Monday in the morning, Eastern time, somewhere around 9 a.m. is my usual time, and we're going to continue this sculpt, and hope to see you there. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Friday, and enjoy your weekend. And if you're around on Monday, stop by. I'll see you then. All right. Peace. I see you. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, wait, before I go, let me hang on, let me grab my, I'm trying to do this here. Does that work? That doesn't, I got to figure out what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, just check out 99 stream if you haven't already. I know some of you have already I see you in that stream. But I'm trying to get in the habit of shouting you guys out every stream because you guys y'all are supporting me and it's greatly appreciated. And I'm gonna try to, return the favor. All right.